This was some seriously unexpected Tesla stock news, and how it was done was very irresponsible. We know that Dan O'Dell wants to ban Tesla's full self-driving technology because he has competing technology, and they put up this person up for a drive, and that person is not even looking at the road, not paying any attention to what is happening on the road. The person works for Dan O'Dell, but they have a website Dan project there on this video, so I assume all of these people work for him. This is crazy news. In a way, good news for us Tesla stock investors, but that was so reckless and dangerous. I don't know how he even thinks that this is appropriate to be posted online. Obviously, they are cheating the system. There is a weight on a wheel and the interior camera is hidden. You can see the weight right here, which is cheating the full self-driving system. There's also some sort of a message displayed right here. Of course, they are not paying attention to that, and that's not good. And then I can't really quite tell what's going on with the interior camera and the mirror. The tweet, of course, got community noted. The note says this is completely false, as it's been tested that the in-cabin camera reacts well to an inattentive driver. Since version 10.2, if the camera is covered, FSD beta will not activate. So clearly there is a lot of cheating going on in that video. And throughout the whole video, of course, you cannot see the cabin camera. It's conveniently hidden. At least I can see the camera here. Can you? I personally never tried to cheat the FSD system, and if I ever look away for a little longer than I should, I get nagged by the system immediately. Dan says that they were using the latest version of full self-driving in that video, but until I actually see proof that that was the case, I am not really taking that as a fact. There's also a comment here that he modified the rearview mirror to hide the cabin camera. Yeah, the mirror did look weird to me. I'm not sure if they actually had to physically modify and change the mirror, or they were just able to adjust the mirror without using any tools. As Tesla's full self-driving capabilities do get better, I think it is also important for Tesla to pay attention to all of these cheat devices and make it much harder for anyone to use any kind of a cheat device. But if you do use a cheat device, or you intentionally try to trick the system somehow, you are the real problem here. And now let's go through the latest Tesla stock news. James says the Chinese EV consumer is very tech conscious. My guess is Tesla has not introduced hardware 4 in made in China Model Ys yet, because they are waiting to launch hardware 4 in the Model 3 refresh, at which point they will announce hardware 4 in the Model Y as well. This is to prevent the Osborne effect for the Model 3. I certainly do agree with James that probably we will see hardware 4 in Model Ys in China the moment we see the Model 3 refresh come out. There's a discussion going on Twitter about Tesla licensing full self-driving to other companies. Gary here says, if you are Mercedes or Volvo and you have invested in millions, why would you cede your autonomous driving system to Tesla? That's where all the value in the car will be going forward. How do you then differentiate your car to potential buyers? Mercedes already has a robotaxi permit in California, level 4, so doing it elsewhere just means filing for a permit. And James here has a really good point with which I fully agree. You're right. What they are going to do instead is waste many more millions of dollars on a lost cause, and once Tesla's FSD starts becoming a big reason for their sales decline, they will beg Tesla to license it. Which in some ways, this is actually good for Tesla, because when you really think about it, they could be taking that research and development money and spend it on making slightly better EVs instead of making software that they will never be using later. Here's some bullish news for the EV adoption in the European Union. The European Union will mandate really fast charging every 60 kilometers on major highways that are highlighted here. And the UK wants to mandate 99% charging station reliability. I guess that means more Tesla chargers in the UK. The latest full self-driving version is going out to some people now, and it seems like it has some better visualizations. And this one I really like. It appears to also reduce unnecessary slowdowns. This is one of my probably biggest complaints about full self-driving beta right now, especially when I have passengers in the vehicle. If I'm driving through an area that I haven't driven through before in a city, and if I have passengers, if Tesla on FSD slows down for no good reason, suddenly, just once, I will turn off FSD for the rest of the drive. But if you drive through an area that you have driven through before many times, you will know exactly where it tends to do that, so it's not really a big deal, because then you just turn it off before you get to that point, or you just accelerate through it. The problem is, then it happens really unexpectedly. Then it scares my passengers. FSD transfer program has now been announced in China as well. Warren has a pretty strong comment about that video. The guy in the driver's seat should be arrested for reckless driving. He is deliberately defeating safety features of Tesla FSD, putting the public at risk. This is actually quite beautiful. This parking lot was described to have a small number of Tesla vehicles, and this is in Shanghai on July 20th. It's easy to forget how big Tesla actually is now. This is just a small number of Tesla vehicles now. On the earnings call, we heard Elon mention Optimus and creating robotic arms for someone who has lost their limbs, for example, and there are quite a few amputees just in the US alone. This, of course, is going to help these people a lot, but also at the same time, these are not going to sell for just $1,000 each. Elon said that he does not want all of these things to cost $6 million for one person, maybe more like $60,000. And I don't think anyone at all is even trying to attempt to even model this somehow in their Tesla valuation models. I'm not saying that you have to, I'm just saying that you will be getting this part of Tesla's business in the future basically for free when you buy Tesla stock today. And largely you can make the same comment about Tesla's full self-driving. Most investors do not put anything of value towards Tesla solving full self-driving in the future and running a fleet of robotaxis. Some investors do assign value to it, but most still do not. Here's a nice chart showing top 3 EV company deliveries: Volkswagen, BYD, and Tesla. The growth of BYD as well as Tesla is pretty consistent, but Volkswagen is struggling a little bit. It's a lot more bumpy. One thing that I'm really liking about Twitter lately is when I see an ad on Twitter, I know exactly what I'm getting, because usually if it's suspicious, there's going to be a community note explaining exactly what's going on. In the short term, of course, that makes Twitter not do as well, but in the long term, I think that will actually make more money for Twitter overall, because the user experience will just keep getting better and better and better, leading to more users spending more time on Twitter. Elon says that you will be able to publish content of all types on this platform, including an encyclopedia or a several-hour-long video if you want. Right now, long-form videos are not really well suited for Twitter, because if you watch it and you leave that video and you want to come back to the exact same place, you better write down exactly where you left, because Twitter will start playing it from the very beginning. It's a bit annoying for now, but I'm sure that update is coming. I saw a whole bunch of people on Twitter also announcing that they will stay exclusively on Twitter because they also want to help Elon. I read through this whole conversation that Alexandra posted on her Twitter, and I found out that Alexandra has a 7-figure day job. Wow, that's quite impressive. Well done there. Recently, Twitter updated their monetization rules. You no longer need to get 5 million impressions each month for 3 consecutive months. Instead, you just need to have 15 million impressions in total in the last 3 months. It's not a huge change, but it still makes it a bit easier for creators to be eligible to start making money on Twitter. I think as Twitter starts to actually make money and not lose money, these criteria will be much lower, just like what YouTube is right now. I think it will be somewhat similar. You only need 1,000 subscribers on YouTube and 4,000 watch hours, which is relatively Not too hard to do compared to 15 million impressions in 3 months. Elon says that this news about him is fake news. Elon Musk reportedly used millions of dollars in Tesla funds to secretly build himself a literal glass house after famously saying he will own no house. So, fake news, says Elon Musk. This is one of the coolest Tesla pictures I've seen lately. This is from Germany. Nice. The automakers in Germany are struggling. Look at these numbers here. Alexandra says these are production numbers January to May 2019 compared to 2023. Volkswagen down 23%, Audi down almost 10%, BMW down 10%, Mercedes down 31%. Tesla has completed their current Megapack installation at Giga Texas. Good job, Tesla team. That was pretty quick. Those 68 megapacks are worth $135 million, including installation. Tom from RBC was just on TV to give a few new thoughts about Tesla stock. He's a fairly decent analyst. He has a buy rating on Tesla stock right now.
A lot of folks wanted them to blow out of the park and raise the guidance on Model 3 and Model Y production for the year. That's probably not happening. So I think some kind of short-sighted people probably took some money off the table there. But really, it's about what Elon said on the call, licensing FSD. That's going to be a game changer. That's the biggest driver, really, for my 305 price target.
When a Wall Street analyst calls other investors short-sighted, you know, they indeed are short-sighted.
What those conversations have been like with your clients?
Yeah, the main questions really have to do with the price cutting. Does that mean that there's a demand problem, right? And I think cutting production in Q3, now this is planned cutting just to upgrade the production plants. That's all it is. But I think that does add fuel to the fire where people may think, oh my God, there's a demand problem for Model 3, Model Y. So a lot of folks are wondering, what is the next car in the pipeline? We know it's been speculated, and Elon has talked about this Model 2 car, which is going to be this lower priced car, high volume car we're going to start seeing in 2025. So that's really where everyone wants to see what's the next big car to come out for Tesla, and has demand waned a little for 3 and Y. We think that's not what's happening, but we are excited about this new car that could be coming in 2025.
If I was concerned about Tesla's demand in the long term, then indeed I would be very worried about Tesla making these production upgrades, and my reasoning then would be, oh yeah, that's probably because the demand is not that strong. But Tesla recently just crushed delivery expectations, and therefore, as a Tesla stock bull, I'm really not worried about that. I agree with Tom, these are just scheduled, nothing really to see here. And if you are a long-term investor, you gotta think about this. Production shutdowns due to production line upgrades are inevitable at some point, so it's just a matter of when do you want to have them.
It looks like Cybertruck is going to be priced potentially in the $40,000 to $50,000 range, and it offers 500 miles of range. And this is all speculated. But if that is the case, this could be a real problem for some of the competitors. I don't know if this is going to be a huge volume maker. I think it's a great market entry for Tesla, and it really showcases the technology that they have. But ultimately, the future of Tesla really rides on the Model 3, Model Y, and then this new Model 2, and what it does, again, with autonomy, FSD, licensing it to other OEMs. That's really where I think investors should focus.
Because of inflation, I'm not really convinced that Tesla will have a $40,000 Cybertruck, although if it does happen, that will be absolutely incredible. But overall, I think Tom has a point. Our focus really should be on full self-driving, and especially the next generation vehicle. Of course, the Model 3 is also going to be important, and especially the Model Y. But the next generation vehicle and full self-driving is going to be what really will matter for Tesla. And a lot of Wall Street is acting like Tesla is never really going to make it big with the next generation vehicle. Just like they did not believe that the Model Y is going to be a huge success. They were wrong, and I believe they will be largely wrong again.
Actually, Ford has actually set themselves up pretty well for the quarter with very low expectations. The problem is everybody already knows this. People are really looking when it comes to all these legacy automakers on pricing. So even though they may do great this quarter or maybe this year, everyone's looking at 2024. And pricing seems to finally be falling. We're seeing all this price cutting happening. And now I think that's where the focus is. So even though they may do fine on this next week or when they report results. I think people are going to be looking past that to 2024 and worried about pricing coming down and the impacts that'll have.
While the CEO of Ford, Jim Farley, is aware that they do need to transition to EVs, it baffled me that he made a comment a few months ago that they expect to grow EV sales at the same time as they grow gas-powered vehicle sales over the next few years. That is just not going to happen. They will grow their EV sales at the expense of their gas-powered vehicle sales. And the market, to a certain degree, certainly realizes that, because you can see it by looking at Ford's forward PE multiple of just 8. And YouTube says you should watch this video next, but if you haven't finished watching this Elon Musk interview, watch this one first. My name is Matt Posius. Like and subscribe if you haven't yet, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.